Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Karen Donaldson from Excel Weight Loss Solutions, and you can find me and my free webinar on how to stop cravings and emotional eating at excelweightloss.com, EXCEL weightloss.com/stop emotional eating, stop emotional eating. I am a registered dietitian and an EFT certified weight loss coach and an emotion code practitioner. And I'm really excited today because I'm going to share with you how to let go of feelings of it's not safe to release the weight so that you can let it go and you can finally be in the body that you were meant to be in, the body that you deserve to be in. Now, there can be many reasons for not feeling safe to release excess body weight. And I'm going to guide you through several of them today, but it can be really helpful to understand why we don't feel safe. The most simple explanation is that the extra weight is somehow protecting us. Very often, but not always, this happens because we have a history of being abused, often sexually, or we have other significant trauma from earlier in life. I had the blessing of getting to interview Dr. Vincent Felitti a few years ago, and the insight that he shared with me about this topic, the connection between obesity and adverse childhood experiences, was incredible, and I will be forever grateful. Dr. Felitti was the chief of Kaiser Permanente's Department of Medicine in San Diego, and he couldn't understand why 55%, over half of the 1,500 people who enrolled in his weight loss clinic left every year before they completed the program. And he was really especially confused after looking at their medical records. Almost all of the dropouts had been losing, not gaining weight. So it didn't make sense at all. Why would people who were dropping pounds also drop out of the program? Well, when he couldn't figure this out, he couldn't find a pattern, he asked those who left the program if he could interview them, and 286 of them agreed. Thank goodness. Quite by accident, by misstating a question, he discovered that many of the people who had dropped out of the program had a history of sexual abuse or sexual trauma. One woman shared that she had been abused by her father when she was a young girl. Another revealed that she gained 105 pounds after being raped. And the stories kept coming literally by the thousands. And it was actually these events that led to the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, the ACE study, which is an incredible study. I encourage you to learn more about it. And you can find out more at acestoohigh.com. So it's ACESTOOHIGH.com if you'd like to learn more. So how does childhood trauma lead to chronic illness? And for the purposes of our discussion today, obesity, how could there possibly be a connection to that? Well, as it turns out, children with toxic stress in their lives end up in fight, flight, or freeze mode, their fright, and they respond to the world as if they are in constant danger. These kids actually feel and believe they are in constant danger, and very often they are. And their brains are overloaded with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. And sadly, they end up having issues in many areas of their lives. For example, they might struggle in school. Maybe this is something that you can relate to as well. They're not able to focus or develop friendships, or maybe they have issues with teachers or authority figures. Children brought up in this environment also often have a lack of trust in adults, and this also extends to other areas of their lives as well, and can affect their adult relationships. Maybe they're not able to be committed or to be in a relationship. It just doesn't ever seem to work out for them. And as a result, these people who experience this fight or flight, this chronic chaotic stress in their early lives, have lots of failure and desperation and despair, honestly. And many end up, excuse me, turning to food or maybe alcohol or drugs or sex or high-risk activities or too much work to find some solace and to find some comfort. And what really starts to happen is that these become the coping mechanisms, the way that they cope to their deeper problems. And it becomes a way to escape from the depression and the anxiety, the fear, the anger, oftentimes intense shame, because the person who is experiencing these intense emotions just wants to have relief from them. So this is really why my job as a registered dietitian, specializing in weight loss, doesn't really help in this situation at all. If someone is using food to feel better, and I tell them, you can't have that, or you shouldn't have that, or you shouldn't be eating that, or your doctor says you're going to die if you keep on doing this, it always backfires. A couple of things might happen. They can say, oh yeah, sure, okay, fine, that sounds great. And then I never see them again. Or they can try to be good for a few weeks, inevitably fail and find that they're not able to be good. And sometimes even eat more because they're rebelling or they feel threatened. And yeah, believe me, I've tried these approaches with clients for years and it never worked. And I was so frustrated for myself, but also especially for my clients, because how was I going to be able to help them? I thought about it. It's kind of like taking a pacifier from a crying baby. So you have this baby who's crying and sucking on a pacifier. You pull the pacifier out of this baby's mouth and you just expect them to be okay. Like, all right, I took your pacifier. Just be okay now, nothing else. And it just doesn't work. So there has to be something else to calm that baby who needs soothing, just like there has to be something else to calm the person who is using food to have relief from painful emotions. And that is why I love EFT tapping and the emotion code so much, and also mindset work, because that's how we can finally make it happen. Because when we are tapping, we are literally sending calming signals to our amygdala, which is the emotion center of the brain. And we're telling our brain that it's okay, it's safe to get out of this panic mode, this anxiety, this fight or flight mode. It's okay. And that whatever we're feeling or whatever we're trying not to feel, the intensity of all of that can be brought down with tapping. Now, it would not be appropriate to tackle a serious traumatic issue such as sexual abuse in a video like this that you found from me or from someone else on YouTube or wherever. So if you're watching this and you have experienced sexual trauma, you can use EFT to help decrease the intensity of that trauma. But honestly, you would need to do this one-on-one with a professional person who is trained to help you. So if you haven't already gotten help for this, I highly encourage you to do so, especially if you are struggling with weight issues, because this is actually one of the #1 factors that contributes to weight issues. I've seen this, I've been doing this for a couple of decades now, and I see this all the time. It's very, very common. And this happens for a couple of reasons. First of all, the trauma itself obviously can be so bad that it can lead to trying to find comfort in solace in food, because the food actually does help you to feel better in the moment. This does it because of the powerful effect that it has on our brain chemistry, raises our serotonin levels and our dopamine levels. So it's really crucial to get help for this if you want to stop cravings and emotional eating. The other reason is that because the weight, the actual physical weight, serves as a protective shield or a barrier from having that abuse ever have to happen again. You are literally putting up a wall with your body. We sometimes call this a body wall. And it helps keep bad people away who could possibly hurt you. And it actually can be very effective. If there's extra fat that you're carrying on your body, it can help you to feel invisible, because honestly, many times overweight people are ignored, and that can even add another layer of security. So it works, except for when it doesn't work, when you like to be free of it and you don't know how to make it go away. And so you go on another diet and do deprivation and restriction, and then that backfires and you're back to where you started with. So once again, if you have serious trauma, please reach out. This video is not going to heal that for you. And we also want to make sure that you're not triggered by this work. If I'm able to help you, of course, I will let you know. But if not, I will be happy to refer you to someone who can. So what we're going to work on today is just the fear of releasing the excess weight, not the trauma that got you there in the first place, but the fear of just even thinking about letting go of the excess weight. That emotion of panic and fear, like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about this. This is too scary. I'm not doing this. And we're not even at the deeper issue right now. We're just talking about the fear, basically, of even going there and doing some work on this. If you're not, excuse me, if you're not familiar with EFT tapping, I have some great resources on my website at excelweightloss.com. For now, you can probably just follow along and be okay for today's session. But again, please always reach out if you need extra help. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, taking full responsibility for your own health and well-being. Pause for just a moment and tune into your body. And when you think about letting go of your extra weight, like if that extra physical weight was gone, what do you notice in your body? There may be a few of you who are very excited and it feels wonderful, but there may be quite a few who all of a sudden are feeling some fear or anxiety or worry or even frustration. And notice how your physical body is feeling it right now. Do you have a nauseous feeling in your gut, some tightness in your chest, or tension in your neck or shoulders, or maybe you're feeling like a little headache coming on? Know all of those things. Very often our emotions will trigger those physical sensations, so we want to pay attention to them as well. Go ahead and write down in a notebook or in your journal what those emotions are. What kind of things are you thinking about? Is it scary? Are you feeling anxious? And on a scale of 0 to 10, overall, what is your reaction to even thinking about letting this weight go? With 10 being, not going to happen. This is too severe. Take a moment to record your thoughts and where you are on a scale of 0 to 10. And then we're going to do some tapping. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Just taking a deep breath in. Let's start tapping on the side of your hand. This is one of the tapping points that we use for EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques tapping. We're going to use it a lot today, along with all of the other points. And while you're tapping on the side of your hand, repeat after me if you feel comfortable repeating after me. If not, then of course don't say any of the words that I say if they don't feel right for you. Even though I don't feel safe letting go of this extra weight, I love and accept myself anyway. Or if you're feeling like you can't say that, you could say, I'm open to loving and accepting myself anyway. Even though I don't feel safe letting go of this extra weight, and I could just feel that fear in my body right now, I'm open to loving myself and accepting myself. And I'm open to letting this go. Even though I do not feel safe letting go of this extra weight, I'm choosing to be open to loving and accepting myself anyway, and letting this go. Remember, right now we're just tapping on the fear of, can I let this go? Is it too scary to even think about this? And now let's go ahead and start tapping on the other points. We're going to tap on the top of the head, inside corner of the eyebrow, the side of the eye, under the eye, under your nose, on the chin point right below your lip, on the collarbone points right here on your chest, under your armpit about 3 or 4 inches down, and back to the side of your hand. And while we're tapping on these points, please repeat after me. All this fear and this anxiety and all of this resistance, all of these emotions that I am feeling right now, just thinking about letting this weight go. Oh, just the thought of not having this weight as a protection, and this is another point right here on the ribcage points, that could be optional for you. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can skip right to under the arm. Just the thought of not having this weight as a protective shield, it's freaking me out. Can't even handle this. Too much resistance. I can feel this in my body right now. Now, maybe you're feeling something in your gut. Maybe you're a little bit queasy, or maybe, again, there's tension in your neck or your shoulders or your head, anywhere in your body. So if that's happening, just keep on tapping and describe those physical sensations. For example, you might say, oh, this nauseous feeling in my gut, or this tension in my neck and shoulders. All this fear and worry that's showing up in my body. So what I'm doing right now is I am sending calming signals to the emotion center, to my amygdala. And I'm honoring these emotions right now. I'm honoring this fear and the physical sensations that are showing up. And I'm doing this instead of stuffing these feelings down with food. I'm just going to keep on tapping as I release these emotions. I'm just honoring them. I'm not stuffing them down with food. I'm choosing to feel safer now. I'm choosing to feel okay, knowing that I have tools like EFT tapping to help me. Again, just remembering that we're not trying to ignore these emotions. We're not trying to stuff them down. We're very gently and lovingly honoring them. We're hearing ourselves. We're listening to our bodies. Good, very nice. Now, you may have noticed the physical sensations decreasing, and that's awesome. And if that's the case, just keep on tapping and remind yourself that it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to have these feelings, and that you're honoring these feelings right now. I'm honoring what I'm feeling. I'm honoring what got me here. But I'm also knowing that holding on to these feelings is really not working for me. Maybe it used to be okay, but it's really not serving me anymore. In fact, I think it's just keeping me stuck. And then I eat better. I eat to feel better. And then I feel worse. And then I start the cycle all over again. I don't know if I want to do that anymore. I don't think that's working very well. So maybe I'll just keep on tapping. I am feeling more calm. Maybe I can just let some of these emotions go. This fear, even this fear about working on this issue. I can tackle the bigger stuff later if I want to. But right now, I'm just focusing on releasing this fear. Good. Now pause again for a moment and let's check in with ourselves. Notice how you're feeling. Hopefully that brought down that fear from a high number to a lower number, maybe from a 10 to a 5 or an 8 to a 1. And if not, please don't worry. We can always do more tapping to bring that fear down. But the point of all of this was just to use the EFT tapping to approach the subject of fear, the fear of even working on this. So again, remember, if you have deeper trauma and you need help, please reach out for that. And you might just need a few more rounds of tapping to bring down that fear as well. And of course, you can reach out for help on that topic if you need help in that area as well. If you want to learn more about how to let go of these emotions and these beliefs that are keeping you stuck, and the fears and the emotions that are sabotaging you, and how to get into the mindset to actually lose the weight and keep it off, I want to warmly invite you to watch my free webinar on how to stop cravings and emotional eating. Again, you can find that at excelweightloss.com/stop emotional eating, hyphens in between. And I also want to thank you for joining me today, for honoring yourself, for paying attention to your emotions, for showing up for yourself and working on some of these fears. It was truly my honor to work with you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.